of the tornado that likely touched down there on the northeast side of Bryan. This coming in, I believe, from Jason James. Is that right, Carla? Yeah, so the Bryan Police Department. And as you can see, there is a pretty good rotation there. We've had a lot of pictures sent to us by meteorology students over at Texas A&M at the top of the O&M building, and a lot of different videos and pictures from different points throughout Bryan of this tornado. This is where it looks like it was starting to spin very quickly. Again, wasn't on the ground very long, but we do have some reports of a home being damaged, power lines that are down, and in that area around the Boonville Animal Hospital, we have received word that they are cutting power to that area because of power lines that have been knocked down. Again, this was around 4:45 this afternoon here in the northeastern side of Bryan. Let me show you the rest of this line, because anywhere from Caldwell, which right now your severe weather threat is really starting to pass by you, but folks around Cooks Point, down to Snook, anybody along the Brazos River, and then into Brazos County, including Bryan and College Station, severe thunderstorm warning out until 5:45 as well, for the possibility of 60-mile-per-hour winds. The heaviest rain, possibility of penny-sized hail moving from just south of Hearn, right north of Mumford, down towards Caldwell as well. And guys, if we can pull up our Caldwell live eye, that would be helpful as well. But again, this line is moving off towards the east at about 45 miles per hour. So that likely will bring a little bit of rain into Bryan and College Station here over the next 5 to 10 minutes. And strong winds moving in anywhere from about 10 to 15 minutes time frame as this line moves into the northern and central portions of Brazos County. Right now, the biggest threat is anywhere from Benchley down to Bryan and maybe the north side of College Station, where some of the biggest winds will impact us here in both of our cities. So again, widen this out here very quickly. Go ahead. We'll show you where that line is through Robertson County back down towards Giddings. And again, that severe potential for wind now passing Caldwell, moving along 21 towards Cooks Point and eventually into Bryan and College Station. Let's zoom in very quickly before we turn over to commercial break. We'll reset, check with the National Weather Service, and get you your full forecast. But I do want to get you an update on that possible radar indicated tornado that's moving through the Brazos Bottom north of Mumford. There you go. So here's our latest scan that we have looking at the wind, still very broad, but it's in this location right around the Brazos River that there may be some rotation and the possibility of a tornado touching down as it moves a little bit closer to the Highway 6 corridor. So folks in Mumford right now, and anybody that's between Hearn and Benchley along Highway 6 needs to be in your tornado safe area right now as this storm continues to move off to the east at about 45 miles per hour. We also have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect. Max, if you'll take it, it's just above my radar there. A new severe thunderstorm watch has been issued for most of the Brazos Valley, everybody but Milam County, until 10 p.m. tonight. The severe weather threat for most of us will not continue until 10 p.m. this evening. Most of this will be over here in Bryan and College Station over the next hour, and then across the eastern half of the Brazos Valley probably over the next couple of hours as that line of storm continues to move to the east. I think by 10 o'clock, though, we are widely in the clear across the entire area. I believe we have more videos and more pictures coming in of the possible tornado that touched down. So there's some of that damage we were talking about. Again, that's from 4:45 is when a small shower that was no more than about 10,000 feet into the air. So it was pretty low to the ground, spun up a very quick funnel, and then a brief tornado touchdown. There's that home that we had reported being damaged here on the northeast side of Bryan currently. Again, these are some of the pictures coming in to the News 3 weather newsroom over the past half an hour or so ago. Here is a new tornado warning as well for the northern side of Brazos County. Yep. So this is going to extend. Pause that for me, Max, and put on the yes, winds, if you would, as well, please. So again, this is just on the north side of Bryan, moving off towards the east. Let's take a look at our winds. And the National Weather Service issuing it basically anywhere from up north of Mumford, where you see some of the greens and the reds kind of mixing in together. That's where there could be a rotation. And what we normally find as well on the leading edge of lines like this, where the wind is pushing out fast, and you see a bit of a bow in that wind structure on the apex. So right there, which right now is probably right along the OSR, right there on the Brazos and Robertson County line, that is where we have the potential as well for maybe a brief spin up trying to form. So we do have that new tornado warning. Max, what time does that go until?
That is until 5:45 as well.
Okay, 5:45, the new tornado warning in effect for the very northern portions of Brazos County. Let's go ahead and zoom in a little closer to Bryan here, Max, if you could.
Yeah.
And I really want to get a hone in. So if you're in College Station, this tornado warning, not in place for you. If you're from downtown Bryan south, keep an eye on it. But this tornado is not in effect for you as well. Go ahead and zoom down to street level if you could, Max. It looks like this basically crosses through North Bryan, north of 21. Take me out to the east a little bit. Basically where Highway 6 and Highway 21 meet. That's where that tornado warning will be. So if you're in Bryan, anywhere from 21 to the north, or if you're in the northeast side of the county over to Wixen Valley, you as well need to be in that tornado safe area, which again, lower level of your home, anywhere that has four walls around you that do not touch the outside. And it's probably a good idea to take a blanket or something that you can put over you just in case there is this brief tornado that does touch down from this. Any debris that's flying through the air, that will protect you as well. But again, right now, folks in Benchley, looks like the worst of it is right around you. Max, if you'll zoom it out a bit and give me that wind estimate once again, we'll get a look. And in the back, if we could, let's go ahead and take a look at the downtown Bryan camera. If you could point it to the north and to the northeast, that would be helpful. We can kind of look at what's happening with this thunderstorm. So again, anywhere from north of Mumford on the leading edge. So Mumford right now, stay in your tornado safe area where you are. But I do think that the threat is passing by, although the heaviest rain, maybe even the ability of some small hail falling there, is passing over you right now. But again, if you're along Highway 6, basically on the south side of Robertson County here, moving towards Highway 6 and then in towards the very northern side of Brazos County, this is where we're monitoring for that potential spin up. And again, this is hard to see. This isn't a well-defined area of circulation, but this is a look at a different product here. We have debris down there. This is a pretty good signature that there is the possibility of a tornado on the ground right now just off to the east of Mumford. Anything from the Weather Service confirming this? Right now?
You know what, Shell? The only thing I'm seeing right now is they're not 100% sure that that is a tornado debris signature. You know, just from what I'm seeing, where the rotation is, and that blue spot, that looks like close. It could very well be that.
Zoom in on that. So again, this is right along OSR there, right on the Brazos and the Robertson County line. And normally when you see something blue like that, it normally indicates that there could be some debris being lofted up into the air. And there's the latest scan. Notice it's not quite as prevalent right there along the line. It's gone from the blues to the greens, so the colors are coming up a bit for us, which is not as strong of an indication. So that may have been a one-off for us, but if there is the potential for some tornado concern, it's going to be passing right over the south side of Highway 6. Again, this right here, that's OSR, there's Highway 6. Benchley is sitting right pretty close to that, so you folks need to be in your safe area currently. And then anybody that's very close to OSR over towards, say, Blue Moon Barbecue or so, you need to be in your tornado safe area right now. You need to take caution of this storm. Even though we haven't had a confirmed reports, likely if we did have something, it'd probably be rain wrapped as well, Max, just because there is a lot of rain falling with this as well. But again, here's that apex that we were talking about. So this is where the fastest winds are being pushed out, basically from the very southern side of Robertson County right back down toward the community of Benchley. And it's on that leading little curve that you see there that the possibility of a tornado is in place, and that's why we're monitoring it very closely. So again, the tornado warning goes down to the Highway 21 corridor here in Bryan, but really the threat right now seems to be shifted a little further toward the north, up around OSR. Let's take that live eye camera over downtown Bryan if we could, and we'll kind of look towards the north. And Heather, if you can just kind of slowly rotate it for us. So this is a view from downtown, from the Verisco building, looking up towards the north, towards the storm. And as of right now, it's hard to see. And again, if we did have any sort of tornado in the area, you probably wouldn't be able to see it just because of how rainy it is. Go ahead and take us to the other side of that pole as well, Heather, and we'll continue to look a little closer to the Highway 6 corridor. We'll get past everything that's on top of the Verisco building, but you can see how things are shaking a little bit, so things are getting pretty breezy here in Bryan and College Station as well. Let's take a little look at Pinpoint Radar for us. And Max, if what you'll do for us, let's go down to street level first of all. So we do have the rain starting to move into downtown Bryan. You see a little bit of rain as well here in College Station. So this is going to be the rain that comes in before the wind. Again, this is for the severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect currently, that's moving closer to the Highway 6 corridor. This is not the tornado concern, but more of the 60-mile-per-hour wind concern here in town. Zoom it out for me if you would, Max. And while we're doing this, let's go ahead and take a a camera shot from Briarcrest and Highway 6. Let's point it to the west so we can kind of see what's happening. Heaviest rain about to move into Smetana, back over towards the Brazos River itself on the very northwestern corner of Brazos County. And again, some of those fastest winds, if we can look at it here in town, we'll kind of poke around and we'll show you what Pinpoint Radar is currently estimating. And it's really this red color. That's where we're going to start to see some of those faster winds moving out. So as you see on the north side of that line, pretty close to where we have that tornado warning, an estimate of about 60 to 70 mile per hour winds there. 40 mile per hour winds estimated around Smetana. All of this is moving towards the north side of Bryan, again, north of Highway 21, probably through downtown Bryan as well. So the reason you need to be indoors is for the possibility of some very strong damaging winds moving to town. But the further you travel down that line, the more that winds are fast and they're strong, but they're non-severe. They'll make some noise for you, but anywhere from about 30 to 40 mile per hour winds are what we're looking at here on Pinpoint Radar. Let's take a look at the latest live eye camera that we have. We're taking a look here from Briarcrest Highway 6. Heather, if you can, let's go ahead and rotate that to the right. That'll show us a better look at the storm. So this is the leading edge of the storm moving here into Bryan and College Station. You can kind of see the differentiations in the clouds there, the kind of striations, if you will. That's showing the faster winds are pushing out. You can really see there on the top of the building there, the wind is starting to pick up a bit as it is shaking things quite a bit there at the Highway 6 corridor. So at the least, you're going to find some fast winds plus plenty of lightning and very, very heavy rainfall moving here into Bryan and College Station. Max, if you can, let's go back to radar. Let's take another look at that tornado warned portion of the storm. Again, the worst of it right now around Benchley. Show me hail as well. Hail wasn't one of our bigger concerns today. We've got a lot of moisture in the atmosphere, and where you see this purple color currently, that's where the possibility of rainfall rates anywhere from about 4 inches of rain, anywhere to upwards of 7 inches of rain per hour. Meaning if it's sat in place for 1 hour's time, that's how much rain could fall. It is moving at a pretty good clip, but this could also cause reduced visibility and some ponding of water on the roadway. I do want to point out, so our hail is picking up anywhere from golf ball to grapefruit to baseball-sized hail. This is a line of thunderstorms where all these storms are fighting for each other, and what's happening with Pinpoint Radar, the hail's not this big. Everything is basically water loaded out there. We've got a lot of rain falling, and it messes with the ability of the radar to look into it. So we do have the possibility, I think, of penny to quarter sized hail coming with this activity. But in terms of golf ball or grapefruit sized hail, I don't expect that to actually be the case as this line of storms continues to cross over Highway 6. Again, there is a lot of moisture to about 40,000 feet above our heads, and that is why the radar is waterlogged, and that's why some of our mathematical algorithms really can't pick up a good estimate of what's happening. And hopefully soon we'll get a couple reports in here as well of what's happening. Max, if you can, let's go down, if you can find the HRRR. We'll zoom this out in the meantime while Max is looking for a pinpoint forecast radar, because I want to get you updated for the rest of the Brazos Valley. If you're behind this line of thunderstorms, you're in the clear for severe weather. That's Milam County, that's Lee County here. You do have more rain and thunderstorm activity coming your way, which could lead to some localized flooding. Everybody across the Navasota River and points to the east, down around Washington County, Grimes County, Madison, Leon County, and east. You still have the potential for damaging winds and the possibility as well for maybe even an isolated tornado concern at times. Do you have that?
Yeah.
Pinpoint radar? Okay.
So
let's take a look at HRRR, Pinpoint Radar. So what this is doing is on the hour, every hour, trying to figure out where this line of storms will be. Let's go ahead to the 7 o'clock hour, Max, if you would. And I do expect by 6 to 7 o'clock, this is now past Bryan and College Station, moving to our eastern counties. Pinpoint looks to be a bit slow here, but by 8 o'clock, the leading edge of this line is out across the far eastern side of the area. We still have rain and thunderstorms behind the leading edge. So while the wind threat comes down, the tornado threat comes down, we could still have a localized flood concern ongoing. Then by 10, 11 o'clock, that's pushing off towards the east and out of the Brazos Valley. We could pick up anywhere from another 1 to 2 inches of rain. And remember, that severe thunderstorm watch is in effect until 10 p.m. I don't expect the severe weather to linger that long for most of us, but that's just to cover the area as this line of storms continues to move through. One more time, we'll take a look at that tornado warning up there, and you can also see how much lightning is coming with this. Over the past hour, we've had well over 1,500 lightning strikes alone in Milam County. So it's dangerous enough as it is. But we'll stop the radar for you. We'll take the lightning off. We'll zoom in here, and let's go ahead and get the latest scan on the possibility of some of that rotation. And again, you can see how scraggly things are here from just south of Hearn just off to the east of Benchley. So folks in the Blackjack community, now is your time probably, if you're not already, to be in that tornado safe area. And then right down here on the north side of Brazos County, just off to the northwest of Wixen Valley, that little area where you see the green and the red kind of bowing together and pushing out just a bit, that could be another little area that we're finding that it could be trying to rotate. But what you'll see, you just saw the latest scan come in, it's now become a little smoother. So it's still possible, but this is very common. You see these little rotations happen, and then you see them loosen up and go away. And then they can try to come back and move away.
The latest out of the Fort Worth, Dallas area, National Weather Service between Houston and Dallas is kind of trying to coordinate this right now because it's right along the county line of Robertson and Brazos.
Because Robertson County, you're in the Fort Worth office. Brazos County, you're at the Houston office.
Weather Service office in Fort Worth does say that the rotation is a little bit more broad now. I think they're going to continue that tornado warning. The immediate tornado threat, they're saying, has diminished with that particular storm, but they're still noting that rotation in between Hearn and Benchley. Along 190 is what they call it, but we're, Highway 6.
Right.
And you can still clearly see that there's at least a little bit of rotation with this, and Shell spoke to this, is that it's kind of gobbling up the moisture as this line of storms is moving through. So there is still some broad rotation with it. Either way, very gusty winds along this storm front as it kind of moves through the area, and we sampled some of the velocity in that it was up to maybe about 66 miles per hour out of the radar, and that's not too far away from the radar side. So there's definitely potential. We're seeing some gusts that high as far south as North Bryan from Smetana all the way to about 21 and northward.
Right. Hey, if you will, drag that here very slowly. I do want to show you, we talked about that potential for maybe a debris signature being picked up. I want to kind of walk you through this here as we're monitoring it. Go back two scans there, if you will. So this was at 5:13. Notice the blues showing up here, likely because we had some fast winds. And it's not to be said that we had strong winds and maybe kicked up a lot of dusts moving through the farmland there in the Brazos Bottom, or maybe even picked up a little bit of debris. But as we walk this through the scan, so let's move ahead here. There's 5:14. Notice how things tightened up a bit, and then by 5:16, those blues dropped off. What we're looking at here is probably a little bit of the wind kind of messing with the data that we had. But again, as we look now closer to our current time frame, we don't really have a lot of that. So there's not a big indication on radar. It's just one of those things that's possible with a line like this, that we could see still a brief spin up as this line continues to move on. And again, Max told you the latest thoughts from the National Weather Service about why we could see a brief spin up as well. Let's go ahead and take a look. We've got more pictures and videos coming in. This again around the 4:45 time frame. We haven't had confirmation yet officially from the National Weather Service, but this is from the viewpoint of Tom Lights Chevrolet. And as you can see, a brief tornado that touched down there on the northeast side of Bryan, there near Boonville and Coyote Run. The information that we have in right now, not a lot of damage to a lot of areas, but we do have a house that's been damaged, power lines that have been down.
Right.
And the reason with those power lines down, there's a very clear picture there. And Max, that looks on the ground to me.
I would say that's pretty convincing.
Right.
Absolutely.
Here's a live eye look again from the Briarcrest Highway 6 basically meeting point there, and you can see the line of storms moving in. It looks mean. That is the bigger winds, and there's actually a bit of a shelf cloud starting to form on that as well, which means those faster winds are trying to push out. So where you're looking right now is Briarcrest Highway 6 and looking up to the north. Max, if you will stop this for us. Line still moving about 45 from the latest that we've heard?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the latest with that, with Milam County, they have allowed that severe thunderstorm warning and the tornado warning portion of that storm to expire for you as this line pushes through Milam County. You are now in the clear. So this moving through Bryan College Station right now, and still a severe thunderstorm warning, and technically still a tornado warned storm as well, though that rotation does look a little broader. Just another thing coming in, they have decided to continue it, not extend it. They're still looking at the rotation that we've been talking about, moving east at 20. So they're calling it a severe squall line capable of producing both tornadoes and straight line wind damage. So the messaging is stay inside.
Right. So let's go ahead. Let's do this for me, Max, if you would. Zoom into the north side of Brazos County, because really anywhere, and the south portions of Robertson County as well. Benchley, if you're still in your tornado safe area, hang tight there for a little longer, but really I think the threat has passed for you. Wheelock, you need to continue to monitor this. And the community of Wixen Valley and anybody that's located here along 21 between North Bryan and Wixen Valley, you need to stay in your tornado safe area. Max, move that purple color if you would back to the side of the screen. And what we want to do, they said that's still moving at about 20 miles per hour, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go ahead and draw a storm track from the Robertson and Brazos County line down to North Bryan, right there at the Highway 21, Highway 6 intersection. We'll draw it out about 20 miles per hour, and this is what we're looking at. If this thing is still capable of producing at least damaging winds, we're looking at the 5:30 to 5:35 time frame for Curtin, and because it is a potential tornado concern, let's go ahead and bump that up. Let's call it 5:25, so right about now until 5:30 for the potential to move in your location. Iola, if this continues on into Grimes County, we're looking at about 6 to 6:05, and then Beat Eyes about, say, 6:20 to 6:25 as this continues on. So what you're looking at here on your storm track, the red color, next 15 minutes, that'll get it to the Navasota River. Next 30 minutes over the river into the very north and western side of Grimes County, western Madison County, and then 45 minutes right through Iola, back over towards the North Zolch area, and then closer to Highway 90 there over the next hour if this is going to continue, but at least we have some strong winds as well. One last thing I want to do for us here, let's go ahead and zoom this out if we can. And we will draw the whole line, Max, from, let's call it Robertson County through Bryan and College Station, with right now that big wind likely pushing through as we speak, and then down into Grimes County. And let's draw it out to about, say, 30 to 40 miles per hour. So just to show you over the next hour where we're headed with this line of thunderstorms, because again, it's really the leading edge of where you see the darker reds and the purples. That is where we have the potential for the severe weather. So over the next hour, that takes us through Madison County, through the northern and central portions of Grimes County, and into the very western side of Walker County, looking for Highway 6, or rather University in Texas. 5:30, right about now, the biggest winds will be moving through. Over towards North Zolch around the 5:40 time frame, we've got Beat Eyes being picked up around 6 o'clock or so, Madisonville near the top of the hour, down to the Milliken area. We haven't talked much about the southern portion of this line. Notice how the colors, they're red, there's some heavy rain there involved, but that is not severe at this time. You could have winds in excess of 30 to 40 miles per hour, but southern side of Brazos County, we're looking at you anywhere from about 6 to 6:10, and then back into Grimes County we go around 6:10 to 6:15, and the very western, or eastern side rather, of Madison County, Midway area, anywhere from about 6:15 to 6:20, and then on into eastern side of Grimes County. Shiro Pinpoint forecast currently has you at about 6:20 to 6:25 or 6:30 or so there on the far eastern side of Grimes County as well. Let's take a look again if we can here in town. Let's start with Highway 6 if we can, and right there at Briarcrest on the live eye camera. I do want to get a look at the storm, and let's move that just a bit off towards the right if we can. Pan that very slowly. Show you what's happening here. You can see the fast winds that are moving with these clouds as it pushes off towards really into town here. We'll move that camera. You can also see things look hazy to the north. Looks a little muddled. That is where we have the very heavy rain and maybe even some hail mixed in moving across the north side of Brazos County. Guys, can we turn this a little bit towards the right there? There you go. So a little bit more if you would. So this is going to be the leading edge of that storm. You can see how ominous the clouds look. You can also see the clearing there on the northeast side of Brazos County, but very heavy rainfall. All of that kind of hazy, milky look that you see, that is that prolific rain that is falling, as well as the possibility of hail dumping out of that line of storms that likely is also pushing out high winds in excess of 50 or 60 miles per hour.
Shell, just given to me from Carla that 1179 is closed between Merca and Copperfield. Do believe that is near where some of the damage reports and where the funnel cloud was sighted on kind of that north side of Bryan, near the Boonville Animal Hospital. So they're asking that you avoid 1179 if you can, or around that area in between Merca and Copperfield. Okay. And either way, before too long, that line of the thunderstorm is going to get pretty close to that spot in North Bryan as well. It's right along the heaviest rain is right along Highway 21. Wind extends out a little bit further than that, so we'll throw that on velocity there for you and kind of show it. Does look a little bit more ragged, which is a good thing in this situation. We'll see if we can throw a couple identifiers on there and find a couple more wind gusts. Still predicting about up to 60 miles per hour in some of the strongest spots, particularly kind of the northern half of Brazos County, specifically north of Highway 21 right now. where we're seeing the highest returns there on the velocity scan. And you see that purple color, very, very heavy rain, maybe some hail embedded in that as well. Not the huge threat with this. Maybe up to quarter size hail is what we're talking, with some wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. And if that is what we're seeing, then that could potentially blow some power lines down and cause some damage as well. Hopefully not, but there you see that shells kind of poking around on the radar, anywhere from about Wixen Valley, but stretching back into northern portions of Bryan, up to about 45 miles per hour on the radar. And again, this is a little up into the thunderstorm, not necessarily here at the surface, but could very well be mixing down to the surface, is what we were kind of able to see just on the live eye view, the wind kind of pushing down with this shelf cloud that we're watching moving in.
Yeah, I like what's happening. Here's the latest scan that we have in terms of what rainfall rates. So again, how much rain is falling from this as we speak. And the purple color is sampled anywhere from 6 to maybe close to 7 inches of rain per hour falling. So again, that means if this was sitting in one spot for 1 hour, 7 inches of rain close to it would be possible. And that would probably lead to some very localized flooding. What you're probably experiencing there around Wixen Valley and then the north side of the Brazos County there around Highway 6, if anyone's driving there, likely what it looks like, Max, is the inside of a washing machine, essentially.
Right.
A lot of wind blowing out, again, 50, 60 miles per hour. Let's go back. We've got new video of the tornado that touched down there on the north side, or northeast side rather, of Bryan. Again, this was around what we've been told so far is the Coyote Run and Boonville area. They're on the northeast side of town. We'll go ahead and take that whenever you guys are ready. We've got new pictures of damage that has been here, and there, again, there's some of that damage that's been reported. And as we look at some of these pictures, we can rotate through what we have. I do want to take us back. I'm going to set us up on Pinpoint Radar here and show you that 4:45 time frame. Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
We have that? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and take what Josh was just showing us, Josh Gorbett here. We have a picture potentially from the Iola area. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just northwest of Iola. So this is the current picture. When was that sent, Josh?
Minutes ago.
Minutes ago. Okay, so that was minutes ago, taken from Iola, looking off towards the north. So what we'll do here is we will take a quick look at our wind. Max, if you want to poke up our wind as well. So again, this is taken from Iola, and what looks like likely either funnel cloud very close to the ground, because again, we've got a lot of moisture in place, so all of our clouds are very close to the ground. But at this point, I would go ahead and assume that there is the possibility of a tornado now moving past Curtin. So again, here's Iola here, looking at the viewpoint over the Navasota River into the distance towards the Highway 21 corridor. And as of right now, Pinpoint Radar indicating that there could be a very thin tornado that's touching down to the ground north of Curtin out here, kind of probably in this area, just north of the highway. So if you're in Curtin currently, just because of the picture that we have sent in to us just over the past couple of minutes, and really probably right here in this location where you see those greens and those reds really coming close together. So just off to the north of Highway 21, all things considered, there is a potential for this tornado on the ground as we speak. What I want to do for you here, I'll show you that area again, and we're going to come in as close as we can to get you kind of a look. So there's FM 2038. They're coming out of Curtin. So this is going to be to the east of that, and as we move along, this is pointing in the direction of FM 974, and then eventually right here, this is the Navasota River, the Brazos and Madison County line is located right there. So if you're anywhere along 21, especially just north of it, so anybody from the Edge and the Tabor communities to the south need to be in their tornado safe area as we speak, and then anybody into the eastern side of Brazos County, because of what we had shown to us from a picture, and it's starting to look at least like some fast winds, if nothing else, left over.
Either way, it's coming in pretty impressive on the velocity signature.
Yeah.
So up to 70 miles an hour on that velocity scan.
With very heavy rain. So we're looking from Iola, we could see that clear as day. The reason being it's likely on the very leading edge. If you've been with us for a bit, we've been talking about that bowing segment of this line of storms. And it's on that bow where we could see tornadoes. It's very common with something like this. So 69-mile-per-hour wind right now sampled through Curtin. Again, that's coming with the possibility of hail being thrown through, as well as some very heavy rain being passed through as well. A 50-mile-per-hour wind or more there on the north side of Bryan, or north side of Brazos County, rather, excuse me, and then just north. So north of Highway 21 is where we have our fastest winds, and from all likelihood, the potential that there could still be a tornado on the ground just off to the north, maybe by about 1 mile to 3 miles there, north of Curtin. Latest sampling we have, about a 74-mile-per-hour wind, 53 just north of that, and about a 50 to 60-mile-per-hour wind north of Highway 21, moving towards the Tabor communities, moving over south of the community of Edge, and then passing through the very north and east side of Brazos County. A lot of folks have quite a bit of acreage out there. There are plenty of homes in this portion of the county as well. You need to be in your tornado safe area. North Zulch, not under this tornado warning currently. Iola, not under this tornado warning currently. And even though we could have the viewpoint from Iola right now, the concern will stay north of you. This is going to travel into the west side of Madison County. Anybody from Normandy down to North Zulch at this point, no need to get in your tornado safe area, but you do need to keep paying attention as this is moving in your direction.
National Weather Service chat and things like that. And so far, we have not seen any indication, at least to the naked eye, of any rotation as of right now, other than that picture we got of Iola looking north and westward. There is one here says a non-rotating wall cloud a little bit closer to Bryan College Station. As of right now, wouldn't say that that's a huge worry, but almost all of Brazos County is still under that severe thunderstorm warning until 5:45. So for the next 5 minutes, but I would not be surprised at all to see this extended. In fact, it probably will be, though the heaviest rain and wind that we are sampling right now is still right along and north of Highway 21, really in between 21 and OSR. So as that main line passes over you, then that severe threat is largely over. Now, there is still a severe thunderstorm warning also for Robertson County. That is from about Calvert southward all the way down into Brazos County as well. If you're watching in Milam County wondering what's going on, you are in the clear from the severe weather threat. Probably not done with thunderstorms just yet tonight, but that severe thunderstorm threat is over for you. And again, where you see that those pinks and purples is not only where we're seeing some of the heaviest wind, but likely seeing the heaviest rain and maybe some hail as well. And Shell, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe that we've gotten any reports of hail today so far.
We have not. And again, we showed you some pretty high hail rates a little earlier. That's because we have a lot of water that's falling out of these clouds as well. So there is the potential that we could see some hail up to the size of pennies, and the most extreme up to the size of quarters, but I really think that is going to be a little too high. So hail is possible, but it's not going to be damaging type hail. The wind and the potential for tornadoes is what we're monitoring. And really, Max, where we're watching this is kind of outrun the tornado warning.
Yeah, a little bit, actually. So we're kind of waiting for National Weather Service to kind of re-get in gear. Here we go. There's that new severe thunderstorm warning.
Right. So
this is going to now include Curtin, and it's the eastern side of, or I should say northeastern part of Brazos County, including now Bedice, Iola, Madisonville. So they have opted for the severe thunderstorm warning instead of a tornado warning. But really, in my humble opinion, the impacts would be about the same. Whether this is a brief tornado or we're talking the potential for some straight line wind damage, you still need to be indoors. Away from doors and windows, especially in that spot.
Yeah, you probably just need to be, like Max said, indoors, away from windows, away from anything that puts you close to the outdoor elements, because the possibility of those 60 to 70 mile per hour winds is with you. And because it has that tornado possible tag, again, we've seen spin-ups happen over and over again. We've had likely a tornado touchdown, and for all indications at this point, we're going to call it a tornado even though it hasn't been officially confirmed as that. I think we have enough evidence with the damage that we have. So because we've had that concern on and off, that tornado possible tag has been included. And if we see strong indications that there is the possibility of another tornado, this will be upgraded. But again, this is moving off towards the northeast at about 40 miles per hour. What is interesting with this is Max pokes around the wind. You see the 50, the potential 60 mile per hour. Max, zoom us out. Actually, stay with that scope that you have. Switch it over to hail, if you would. I want to show you our Hale Vision into this line of thunderstorms. And again, we were talking about the potential for a line of storms, all these storms are clustered up against each other. So they're all fighting for the same atmosphere. As we poke around, though, go ahead and poke into these purple colors here. So the blue is going to be quarter size. The white color is going to be the possibility of pea-sized hail. And then pinpoint forecast here, trying to estimate hail sizes up to the size of a pool ball, a billiard ball. This severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for the possibility of golf ball sized hail. Again, it can't be ruled out, but likely what is happening with the radar. And until we get some information from folks as these storms move through, we haven't had any hail reports come in just yet. There is a lot of moisture in the atmosphere, and the radar has a hard time seeing the potential for hail, or how big it is, rather. That is something we'll be monitoring, but for all indications, we have to assume that the potential for golf ball sized hail is there as this continues to move off towards the east. And again, this is where the hail was. We don't have a look just yet with the latest scan on what's happening with the line as it moves through. So the National Weather Service has put out that new severe thunderstorm warning for the possibility of golf ball sized hail, for the possibility of fast winds in excess of 60 or 70 miles per hour. But again, that tornado warning, if you were in the tornado warning from southern portions of Robertson County, north side of Brazos County, it has cleared past you. It has moved past you. The tornado warning remains in place, but the overall threat has moved past you at this time. That's the new warning. Again, golf ball sized hail, 70 mile per hour winds technically is the reason that this has been issued by the National Weather Service until 6:30 p.m. Let's take a look, if we can, Madisonville. Let's look from our Madisonville camera, and let's look back to the west. What we may run into, though, is we're going to have to look over the trees there from downtown Madisonville. But when you guys get that ready, go ahead and pull that up for me, if you will. Let me get you another look as we're waiting on that. The rest of the line of thunderstorms, Bryan and College Station proper, the threat is over. Your severe thunderstorm warning has been allowed to expire. Doesn't mean that we won't have some very heavy rain move in. Let me put the lightning back on for you as well. Pretty much centered over the north side of the county, back off towards the east is where we have lightning. This is a view from Madisonville. Heather, if you'll turn us to the left there, you can see the trees starting to sway. The storm is still pretty good bit away from Madisonville, although that severe thunderstorm warning now includes you. And we'll zoom this around. You're going to see a big pole in the way. That's how we get power to our live eye camera. But as we look there over the tree line, storm's still pretty decent way. Keep moving if you would. Heather, let's go ahead and take a look all the way around. You see a little bit of sun on the other side. So moving away from looking at those storms. But that's the current view that we have, and that's going to be the best view that we have of these storms. Now moving into the eastern side of the Brazos Valley, at least the severe potential for those storms as they cruise off into western portions of Madison County and the northern portions of Grimes County. Do want to take you up into Leon County as well, Hilltop Lakes, Flynn, Normandy. You're kind of on the line here, but the big wind threat for you, while it will be a little bit breezy out there, not as big of a concern. I'll kind of poke around some of our winds here in Leon County. It is a decently gentle breeze up that direction. So the winds really start to pick up once you move back across the OSR region there back into Madison County. That is where we're looking at some of the fastest winds. And again, we'll kind of sample some of those. You can see those brighter reds. That's usually where we see the faster winds here. So right there along 190, 21 mile per hour wind being estimated moving over the Navasota River currently. So that's pointed right towards you folks in North Zolch, and a 50 mile per hour wind there right along Highway 21. Plus very, very heavy rainfall moving as well.
So one of the things that I'm looking at right now is velocity that's around Bryan College Station, and you can still see that there's still some inflow, so some probably pretty scary looking clouds, especially if you're kind of in South College Station and you're thinking, I haven't gotten anything yet. You know, the heaviest activity is off to your north and west, and so what we're seeing on the radar when we look at velocity is air kind of being pulled into the storm and then almost being pushed back out. So where that is the strongest is where you see that pink and where Shell's got the storm track on there, but we're still looking at the potential for some gusty winds to at least 30 miles per hour plus. And right now here we're in South Bryan, almost to the College Station line, and we're hearing at least a little bit of rain right now, but
let's go ahead.
Heaviest is.
Let's pull up our Scott and White live eye camera if we can. We'll get that ready for us. Here's some of the time track that we have for the severe thunderstorm warning. North Zolch now to the next 5 minutes or so is when those big winds move in. Normandy, if it's going to be headed your direction, next 5 minutes as well or so. Madisonville by about 6:05 to 6:10. next 10 minutes over around the Laciola area there in Madison County, and then into the far eastern side of Madison County, headed closer to South Houston County by 6:20 to 6:25. Let me show you what Max was talking about here in College Station. Again, no severe warning for us. And also, while we were looking at the new severe thunderstorm warning, that tornado warning has officially expired. So if you're in your tornado safe area, you can come out. As of right now, no indications that we're going to have a tornado concern, but if you are in that severe thunderstorm warning across Madison County, North Grimes County, you do need to still be paying close attention as well. Heather, if we can get that South College Station live eye up. Thank you. Here's some of the winds through town. Again, moving out of the storm, so all the red color you see is moving away from our radar sites. They're just south of Waco. The winds right now in town, 20 to 30 miles per hour, so all sub-severe. Here's a look from our camera located there just near Rock Prairie and Highway 6 atop of Scott and White Hospital. And you can see those storms that are moving in the direction. Let's go ahead and turn that to the right if we could. So that's Highway 6 that you see there in front of us. And as we go to the right, we're going to look back towards campus, towards Central College Station, and towards the Bryan area. So that's where the heaviest rain is falling now. Again, south portions of College Station, the heaviest rain hasn't moved in, but you can see the clouds, they are scraggly. They are looking a little rough for you, but at this point, it is that's just the air kind of condensating and the moisture condensating into that line of thunderstorms. So while they have some bark, it is more bark than bite with the clouds that are moving here through Bryan and College Station as well.
Yeah, that's your South College Station looking off to the north. You can see on the horizon there's campus. Rock Prairie is the intersection that you see there on Highway 6. And yeah, hardly even a drop of rain falling right now in South College Station, while the winds are howling on the other side of the county right now. So that's just kind of the nature of this particular storm system moving through. Is while there's a couple of spots with damage reported in Bryan, hardly a drop of rain has fallen for the past couple hours right now in South College Station on the southern half of the county.
Yeah, so let's come back to Pinpoint Radar if we can, guys. So we'll continue to watch this again here in Bryan and College Station. It is going to be some gusty wind, but I do want to point out how much lightning we had and how much lightning we have now. So this over the past hour. Over the past hour, these storms have moved into Milam County and then eventually through Robertson County, through North Brazos County. But what I want to show you, a prolific amount of lightning out here in Milam County, North Burleson County, North Brazos County. And there is still a lot of lightning moving your direction there in western Madison County and into the northern portions of Grimes County. But the lightning count has drastically come down. So the severe portion of this thunderstorm is really starting to tighten up there over Madison County, and that is really where we're going to be focusing our attention. In fact, the brand new tornado warning now in effect for Madison County. Max, if you'll highlight that one, let me check with the National Weather Service and see what they have for us. So a tornado warning in effect. Madison County still has the tag as well for the possibility of golf ball sized hail. This will run until 6:30. The storm currently located 10 miles northeast of Curtin and moving away from Curtin. I do need to point that out for folks here still in Brazos County. Our worries have ended. This is Madison County now, or 14 miles west of Madisonville, moving off towards the east at 35 miles per hour. This is radar indicated rotation, but the possibility of flying debris as well as damage to roofs, to trees, all possible, and maybe even some structures with this storm moving into Madison County. Again, right now, just over the Navasota River, it's kind of this area that you see here where the green is bending around the red. So once again, we have that concern where there's a little bit of spin coming with this storm on the leading edge where the fastest winds are being pushed out. And when that happens, that can create a circulation. And that circulation may be producing a wall cloud currently, could be producing a funnel cloud, and again, radar indicated at this point. So we don't have a strong indication that there is a tornado on the ground, but if you're in the North Zolch or anywhere between Normandy, North Zolch, and down to the southern portions of Madison County, you need to be now in your tornado safe area. And again, we had a lot of questions about this with the multiple rounds of severe weather we've had come through. If you don't know what that is, it's the lowest level of your home. It's going to be where you put 4 walls around you that are not touching the outside of your home, so a closet, a bathroom, something without windows. And because there is the possibility that a brief touchdown like we had here in Bryan a little earlier, could throw around debris. So you want to take with you maybe a baseball helmet, maybe a blanket or a mattress or something that you put over you just in case this touches down. Again, it would be very brief, but it's not off the table that it happens. And if there's debris and that gets kind of thrown your way, you want to make sure that you're protecting yourself from the elements as much as possible.
Yeah, Shel, the rotation is near Highway 21. So if you're in North Zolch on the western side of Madison County at all, you need to be taking cover right now. This is from the National Weather Service. They said there's some broad rotation in the upper levels, and they're worried about this thing spinning up and dropping a tornado that is moving east at about 20. And Shel's about to put the storm track on there for you. As this kind of rides right along 21 and moves toward Madisonville.
All right, so that's actually a little bit slow. Let me go ahead and move this back a bit. We're going to make sure we have plenty of room. So again, anybody in the Laciola area back over towards Madisonville, right along Highway 21, as Max just said there, here's what we're looking for. So Laciola, let's call it 6:05. So in the next 10 minutes, the concerning portion of the storm moving in your direction. Madisonville, if it's still ongoing, about 5:15 to 5:20. The Midway area by about 4:35 to 4:40 is what we're looking at. Midway, you're just at the edge of this tornado warning. But right now, if you want to get into a tornado safe area, not a bad idea. At least hunker down there for a bit and just kind of see what happens. But anybody that's between North Zolch, where you do need to be in that area right now, to Laciola to Madisonville. If you're anywhere in that area, you need to be from I-45 and points to the west. You need to be where you are safe from the elements and kind of putting as much as you can between you and the outside as possible. We're throwing our radar once again. So again, this is going to be the area right here moving into the western side of North Zolch. That's what we're watching very closely. And just to kind of throw some roads on here for you, FM 1452 and then FM 978 leading into Laciola. So all of this rotation is to the south of you. This is Highway 21, 190 there, moving across the central portions of Madison County. And right now, passing over FM 39 that passes there through North Zolch. So if you're in North Zolch, you need to be in your tornado safe area now. And then anybody along Highway 21, you need to be also taking precautions. Laciola, get there. But this potentially may move just south of you. And that would be the good news for you there. But because of how broad this kind of Boeing segment is here on the line, right there, that's going to be where the concern is and really where you see the darker red. So back closer to North Zolch is likely where we're seeing any rotation, if we are at all.
Shel, I'm going through some of our emails and submissions that weather watchers have sent to us. I did see one picture near OSR and Jackrabbit. Thanks to Caleb for sending that in. Pretty small hail, likely not causing damage. And that, I believe, is the first hail report that I have seen of the entire afternoon. There's another video that we've gotten of some potential hail falling along with the strong wind that was near that same area. But so far, the only damage that we have seen is from that potential tornado that dropped down in North Bryan over near 1171 and by the Boonville Animal Hospital.
And again, we did have that picture that was sent to us from Iola.
Right.
That very much looked like at least either a very low-hanging funnel cloud. It was pretty far from where the rotation would have been, or potentially even a very brief tornado that touched down in the northeast side of Brazos County as well. Yeah, if we have that still, we'll take this. So this was from earlier. This is not the current threat that's moving through Madison County. But again, this was a picture sent in to us from the viewpoint of Iola, looking off towards the north and to the west into Brazos County over the Brazos River. So a pretty good distance there, but that was when it was moving through the Curtin area a little earlier in the 5 to 5:30 portion of the day. Let's go to one of our live eyes actually. If we can come into town, if we can go to South College Station, because I do want to make sure that we're keeping up to date with everybody. So again, if you're in Madison County, North Zolch to Madisonville, tornado safe area now. Everybody else, we do still have the severe thunderstorm warning in effect for the north side of Grimes County. That is for the possibility of some fast winds. And if we kind of poke around, Max, if you want to take back over here, I'll get back on the wall. So still the possibility of 50-mile-per-hour winds there. So that's going to be anyone from Iola to bead eyes, Carlos, Gibbons Creek, Shiro, Roans Prairie, all in this potential for some strong winds. And right now, it's pretty linear. The line of storms doesn't have anything bowing out from it. So while there may be kind of some scraggly looking to it, this is primarily the wind threat. Again, the tornado threat right now is up the road in Madison County. Let's take that live eye view if we can. This is going to be from South College Station.
Right, looking off to the north.
Yeah,
I
so
believe.
looking from the view top of the Scott and White Hospital there. Take me a little bit more to the right if you could. So that's the exit that takes you from the hospital there to the feeder road at Highway 6.
Right, so that's looking a little more east.
Yeah, and you can kind of see those low clouds. Keep going, Heather, if you would. There you go, Max. So some low-hanging clouds here in town. And again, some kind of what we call scud clouds. So the moisture is condensating and being pulled into the clouds. So as of right now, no tornado concern, but looking back towards campus, can't really see much there because of the heavy rain that is falling. So again, we've got some pretty scary, I guess you can say, looking clouds here in town. But as of right now, it's just a very heavy rain potential, and it's the possibility of some fast winds as well.
We got some folks asking about the Wixen Valley area right now, kind of the northeastern part of Brazos County. And good news is for you, you should definitely still be aware that there could still be some high winds and definitely some heavy rain falling right now, but that tornado threat for you
has come down. And really, the severe weather threat has come down for the most part. There may still be some small hail there, but winds anywhere from 25 to 35 miles per hour still blowing with the very heavy rain that's moving through as well. And what I want to show you, speaking of that heavy rain, if you had plans to get out, I know a lot of folks were asking about Wednesday night services to try to make it to. There's a lot of just different things happening on a regular Wednesday night here in town. I want to show you some of the rain that's falling. And as we do this, if we could pull up the Highway 6 and Briarcrest camera and also have the Association of Former Students camera ready to go as well. Let me show you some of these rainfall rates. So on the west side of the county, anywhere from 4 to 5 inches of rain per hour, and then moving through town right now, about a 3-inch rainfall. So 3 to 5 inches of rainfall per hour. And what that looks like here, this is Briarcrest and Highway 6. What you're looking very closely at is Highway 6, and there's the bridge that runs over the highway. Very heavy rain moving through. So visibility is down probably quarter mile, if not less.
That's a difficult drive.
Yeah, traffic still looks to be moving pretty okay there on Highway 6, but the rain is only expected to pick up. So at this point, even though it's not severe here in town, it's probably not best to get out and about. Let's take a look at the Association camera whenever we have. So I have a viewpoint from Texas A&M. You can hear the rain falling here at the KBTX studio on 29th Street as well. So this is what it looks like from camera. Turn me around if you would. Let's go left if we could. Heaviest rain hasn't actually made it to campus just yet, but it is not far. Estimated from the last scan that we have, it's only about a mile from campus before the bottom really drops out there. So if you're anywhere around A&M, along George Bush Drive, around the Northgate area as well, heavy rain is about to blow in. Again, it's only about a mile away, moving out of Bryan and about to pass through us, through the rest of College Station here shortly.
And really, once this line passes through, the severe threat goes along with it. So we are kind of in a fragile little spot right now, especially kind of on the southern half of Brazos County, where there is a little bit of kind of inflow that we're looking at, not necessarily rotation, but some areas that we need to watch. But once we kind of get that push and get some cooler air to get down here to the surface, that really stabilizes things. So there's the overall radar, and we're trying to keep up with Facebook comments and emails that we're getting and things like that. And we have a lot of questions from folks in North Bryan, Smetana, for instance. And really, if you're along and to the northwest of about this line, you are good to go. As far as any severe weather threat, obviously there's still some rain on the radar, but friends in Mumford, Cooks Point, Caldwell, Chrisman, Milano, just to name a few spots, you are good to go and free of any tornado threats and severe weather threat as of right now. It's and we will likely see that reflected when the severe thunderstorm watch is kind of re-examined as this main line of thunderstorms pushes through. But right now we're still looking for the potential for some severe wind gusts, obviously some very heavy rain, frequent cloud-to-ground lightning, and the heavy rain could be enough to blind you on the highway if you were driving in Bryan College Station, especially on the north side of town, right on Highway 21. And this is not an issue too much down here with folks trying to park under overpasses, anything like that, but that is not advised. If you have to be out on the roads, just take it slow, especially on 21 where the heaviest rain is right now. And we'll go ahead and see if we can get a new velocity scan for folks in Madison County. We haven't forgotten about you. The good news is that the velocity does look a lot less organized, but it still wants you in your tornado safe shelters if you're anywhere from North Zolch and points off to the east. So that includes Madisonville. If you're along that stretch from 21, from anywhere from North Zolch all the way into Madisonville, you still need to be hanging tight in that tornado safe shelter. Whether you've got to turn us up real loud on the TV or you've got us on your tablet streaming, whatever it is, take us into the bathroom closet, grab a blanket or two, and just put as many walls as you can between you and the outside. That tornado warning is still in effect right now.
Yeah, Max, and I was just kind of looking through our Twitter feed. We did have one picture sent it to us from Iola and then as well from Madison County. And if you've got pictures for us, if you go to that KBTX Pinpoint weather app, it's very easy to send it in from there. If you have the news app as well, or just go to KBTX.com, you can send us those pictures. That is the easiest way to get them on air to show you. But moving out from the edge of this, if you can take me back up towards Madison County, Grimes County, right on the leading edge of this yellow where you see that moving through, we do have a very well-defined shelf cloud. So it's going to basically look like what most people say it looks like, and this is not to make it light of it, but kind of an alien spaceship from Independence Day kind of coming out of the clouds towards you. That shelf cloud is moving off towards the east as the faster winds move out of it. You're going to feel the wind pick up, and you're going to see that ominous cloud in the distance. That means you're getting pretty close to that thunderstorm moving in. So again, as of right now, we're still monitoring the situation, and notice you still have this very broad area of rotation. The red is moving away from the radar, green is moving in. So we see them mixing here. This is going to be the area that we're monitoring very closely, moving now past North Zolch, moving in the direction of the community of Laciola, back down towards Madisonville, and closer to the I-45 corridor, which what we'll do, let's go ahead and put a storm track on that, if we could, Max.
Yeah. And Carla just came in and gave us some new information about 1179. It's back open. Coyote Run is still closed. And again, that's kind of where we're looking at where that potential tornado touchdown in North Bryan. So FM 1179 back open where it was closed between Merca and Copperfield. You were now good to go, though.
Okay.
If it were me, wouldn't get on the road as of right now.
And we do have Erica Fernandez out near where that tornado touched down around 4:45 in Northeast Bryan. So whenever she's ready, you guys can get in contact with her. We can go ahead and take her on air, tell us what the situation is. From what I can see with her right now, a lot of sheriff's vehicles out there, a lot of deputies as well. Erica, I think you can hear me now. Can we take her on air? Can she let us know what's happening there? Okay, Erica, go ahead.
Hey, Shell. Yeah, I just got here about 10 minutes ago, and Coyote Run is closed off. 1179 opened up just a few minutes before that, though. Now, that road was closed off for a little bit. A lot of residents were telling us that there was a lot of debris on the road. Now, I was trying to come down 1179 to get to Greenville Animal Hospital, but it was closed. A lot of Brazos County Sheriff's Office was actually redirecting traffic onto Miramont Circle. Now, I stopped on the side of the road because there was a lot of residents that were parked along the road that were trying to figure out how they were going to get home. They said that they heard that there was a lot of damage in their area, and they were looking over this open field and concerned about how they were going to get back into their neighborhoods. They said they were worried about their families and their pets. Again, it is still raining out here. We are here at Greenville Animal Hospital. A little bit ago, the Sheriff's Office actually made us take shelter with the animals inside because we weren't sure of how bad the weather was going to get. 1179 has been open. Coyote Run is still closed, guys. The rain is pouring, it keeps coming down over here. The wind is pretty strong. We have seen some pictures of some damage. When I was coming, I was actually driving down Merca to get here. I did see loud thunder around us, guys. When I was driving down Merca, we actually did see a snapped tree in half. So that's just a little bit of the damage that we've seen driving here, guys. We're going to keep checking out the area and seeing what we can find for you guys. But for now, Shell, I'll send it back to you.
All right, thanks, Erica. And you do have some lightning kind of in your area, so if you can hop back in your car, probably the best idea. Again, non-severe here in town. She was there at the parking lot of the Boonville Animal Hospital, and you can see the 2 lightning strikes that have just come down over the past couple of minutes here, basically to the west of Highway 6 and west of, just along basically Texas Avenue, really. 2 little lightning strikes that have popped up here, and then one out near Harvey Road, Highway 30, where it meets Boonville as well. So we still have some lightning here in town, still have some very heavy rain. I was just checking, the latest that we have from Easterwood Airport is still below an inch of rain officially. We have over an inch of rain in Coulter Field on the north side of Bryan, but you can see this very heavy rainfall moving through Bryan and College Station as we speak.
Yeah, and wording out of the Weather Service in Houston is still that they are continuing that tornado warning for now for Madison and the extreme, I guess, northwestern part of Walker County as well. That extends all the way out to Midway for the next about 20 minutes or so.
And it is mighty noisy. So just in the past 30 minutes, 340 lightning strikes have occurred with this storm. Now, the good news is, there's the new update that Max was just telling you there. About the tornado warning. So North Zolch, you're in the clear. This still goes until 6:30. Let me show you kind of where the line is currently. We'll take this lightning off so everybody can see. Just past the community of George, includes Mecca, includes Laciola. There anywhere along 1452, 978, or 2289 there in the northern portions of Madison County, north of 21. Anybody along those FM roads need to be, or county roads need to be in their safe area at this point. But that also still includes the city of Madisonville. Not quite there yet, but it is starting to move your direction. If there is any sort of rotation, it is basically between Mecca and Laciola, south of Normandy, moving off towards the east. And we'll show you the last, let's go the last 30 minutes or so. And I'll show you what this has looked like. So moving past North Zolch there, and you kind of see how tightly it is still wrapped up as it moves into the community of Laciola off towards the north and to the east. So Madisonville, you may be okay. I do want you to stay in your tornado safe area, but at this point, this storm is turning more towards the north and to the east. It's still moving off at about 30 miles per hour. Let me redraw this so we can make sure that our times are correct. But again, if you're in Laciola right now, current threat with you. Those will pass over the northeast side of the county. And that could put it into places like Middleton around 6:45, and then way outside into portions of Houston County, closer to the 7 o'clock hour, Ostonio, all the way up there in Houston County, 7:06. So we are moving into a more rural portion of Madison County. But again, if you're in Madisonville, you do need to stay in your tornado safe area. And the good news about this as well, you'll notice that purple color has really come down. We'll take this from the past hour, and I'll slowly go through this with you. But as it moved into Madison County, you'll see those darker purples. And then what you'll see is that they're still there, but it's a very tight ball of that purple. So with this warning, remember originally it was estimated that we could have hail up to the size of golf balls. Now it's down to the size of quarters. So in terms of that aspect, the core of the storm is starting to come down as it moves off towards the east. I do believe we have more pictures, more videos that have been sent into here to the newsroom of the tornado that touched down around 4:45 here in Bryan. You just heard from Erica and all the activities that are happening after the tornado touchdown. So whenever we have that, we can go ahead and take those as well, guys.
And in addition to being on over the air, we are also live on Facebook. I'm just kind of cycling through some of our comments, and while we're looking at some of the video there, looks like some damage.
Yeah, so there's one of those homes. We heard of initially one home that was damaged. There may actually be a couple structures that have been damaged there around Coyote Run there off of Boonville. This is another picture of that tornado that touched down. And then here's another view for you. So you can see that very tightly wrapped rotation, and again, very low to the ground, kind of like what we saw, not to compare events here, Max, but kind of like what we saw with the tornado that touched down in 2016 in the Wheeler Ridge area.
Yeah,
that also came without a warning, because what it was is basically a shower, and this is what this was as well. Folks in Madisonville, we're still watching for you, but I do want to take us back. Let me get back to about 4:45, and I'm going to zoom in here to that little cell. So here's where it was at 4:30. Started off on the east side of the highway there at College Station, and at its peak, right there as it crossed over Highway 30, which is likely, and that's really where we started getting the reports of possible tornadoes and funnels. At its peak, as we zoom in on this, I'll show you, it was about 20 to 25,000 feet into the air. So I'll clear that off, and then we'll move this to 445. That's when we had all of our reports come in that this tornado touched down. And we'll cut into the storm again, and we'll show you that this was only about 15,000 feet into the air. If you think about it, when you're taking off from an airplane, once you get to 30,000 feet, it's usually where we hit that cruising altitude. That's normally where we see big, tall storms form, anywhere from 30 to 40,000 feet into the air. This was from the surface to about 10,000 feet up. Very small shower. There was no lightning present with it as well. Basically, it was just a small shower that was able to catch the wind that's moving in from the south, and that was able to spin it up enough to drop that very brief tornado, which is kind of incredible in itself considering
those cloud tops were. And like I said, I was going through some Facebook comments. There are lots of questions. I know plenty of people on edge, especially in Robertson County. Lots of people asking about Franklin and what their threat is through the rest of the night. And I can tell you with some pretty good confidence that your severe threat is largely over. Now we're still looking at rain. There's a not a flash flood warning, but a flood advisory. So kind of a smaller step of that. So some minor flooding and maybe even a couple areas of moderate flooding possible in Robertson County. But if you're watching in Franklin, the severe threat is over and done with. I had a couple of folks ask about Caldwell. Severe threat over for you, but still some heavy rain likely to come before this system clears out. Right.
So what we've done here is we put a storm track on you for you. So if you are behind the line of thunderstorms, if the heaviest rain and the big wind is already past you, your severe threat is done. Notice, and we'll clear off this box here in just a second, but there is plenty of scattered non-severe thunderstorm activity behind this line. Rain will still be an issue for us. But if you're ahead of the line, that's where we're now focusing our concern, mainly for damaging winds, but really it's just this one portion of the line, the very northern extent that's moving through Madison County, that's giving us the biggest fits. But if we could have severe weather, it's anywhere along the line that moves through the central portions of Washington County, now moving through the far southern portions of Brazos County, right around the folks there in Milliken. The rain's about to pick up for you. Grimes County, still mostly in play here, and then over towards I-45 through Walker, as well as portions of Montgomery County. So here's an early estimate on rain, and this line may be slowing down just a touch, so this may be a hair earlier, but I'd rather tell you it's going to get in early than tell you it's going to get in late. So Madisonville, and especially with that tornado concern, it's 6:15. It has it moving in for you over the next 4 minutes. Again, right now, while the bigger threat is just to the north of you, and we'll zoom in on that portion of the storm in just a second,